Hey hikers, it's Lee with Trailside Fitness. In this video, we're going to go through my 12-week fitness program results as I prepare for the Pacific Northwest Trail. Stay tuned. Now, just like I would do with any one of my clients, I'm going to hop in and do my retest at 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 16, kind of and beyond. I typically about once a month or so, or maybe every 6 weeks or so, will hop in and take a look at the assessments. And it does provide a little bit of clarity as far as what we might need to adjust in the training program or areas we might want to shift focus toward a little bit and just make sure we're progressing still overall. So looking at the heart rate, really not much movement here, and I didn't suspect there'd be a whole lot. For me, it was really about maintaining during this phase, and typically as we start to get more fit, sometimes getting those gains in progress are a little bit more difficult to come by. This here, so 53 resting heart rate, but I have a 106 working heart rate, and then a recovery rate of 65. So it puts me about where I was previously. You know, the few extra beats for the working and the resting recovery, not anything that I'm concerned about. I can look to my sleep the last few days not being great. Traveling, those sorts of things can upset that a little bit. The test itself felt just as easy as it did before, and these aren't any results that I'm worried about. Again, I feel like I'm hiking well, and nothing concerns me here. Squat test, again, this one here didn't really prove to be any more challenging than the previous test. I'm able to do 100 without any issue. Could have done more, but once I hit 100, that's where I'll end the test. I think for my clients, I've actually shifted and adjusted this to 50, but since I initially tested at 100, that's what I went with here. Single leg bridge, 40 on each side, and the 40 that I did achieve on each side was challenging. I was definitely feeling the burn, definitely pushing those last few repetitions. I was still making sure to get my hips up off the ground as high as possible. This is almost double what I started out with about 12 weeks ago, so I'm really happy with this progress. Single leg sit to stand, 25 per leg here. Again, this was pretty challenging. The last repetitions were definitely harder. My legs were a little more tired, maybe from the squats I had done before, but I was definitely feeling the more challenging repetitions toward the end. Again, really focusing on controlling the movement down and not just plopping down to the chair, and really using my muscles to get back up without any momentum swing. 25 per leg is great. This is what was actually the goal all along, and it's a little over double where I initially started, so I'm really happy with this progress as well. With the plank, I had a score of 2 minutes and 36 seconds, which is just a few seconds better than it was a few weeks ago. And again, this is more about maintenance. What I did notice this time compared to the last result was that my shoulders were really tired. My triceps, my shoulders themselves from holding up my upper body. And this is, I think, reflective of the type of training that we do as hikers. There were some upper body exercises put into the program, some pushing and pulling movements, some rows, some things like that, but less emphasis overall on upper body and more on the core itself, and then legs, just because those are the needs of a hiker. So all in all, core felt fine. It was the shoulders that were the breaking point here for me on this particular test. For the side plank, just like front planks, it was a similar story. Those shoulders were a little fatigued, one, from doing the plank previously, and then two, just again, not having a lot of upper body work specifically, where I'm gonna lose some strength and endurance. I think that's gonna show up in the planks. Now the score itself is about the same, so kind of a wash there. I will note that with the side planks, the obliques were definitely feeling it, and I don't think I could have gone much longer even if the shoulders weren't an issue. I was really feeling the burn on both of the obliques, so I think this is a pretty fair comparison to where I'm at, and not much change overall from a few weeks ago. Single leg plantar flexion, heel raise, calf raise, whatever you want to call it. We're just testing the endurance and the strength of each individual calf or each individual leg. So with this exam, not much different than I did 6 weeks prior. The last few repetitions, definitely burning, definitely feeling the work there, really striving to make sure I'm getting full range of motion. I probably could have squeezed out a few more reps, but the burning was definitely there. The muscles were definitely feeling the work. So overall, not much change on this one, which I didn't really expect. This is about where I tend to top out historically when it comes to single leg calf raise. So this is a score that I'm pretty happy with, and I think it's gonna set me up well for the Pacific Northwest Trail. Single leg dorsiflexion or toe raise, so think like lifting your foot off of a gas pedal. So here, again, 60 plus repetitions, no issues getting to there. And it gives me a nice balance between shin strength and calf strength when it comes to hiking. This will help out a lot with uphill and downhill hiking, of course. And really, no change overall through the course of this particular assessment. I had good numbers to begin with, maintained that all the way through. Hitting the 60 plus reps was no more challenging initially than it was at the end. Ankle dorsiflexion. So this is one I always struggle with. I'm glad to see some progress here. It's not as much as I would have hoped. I do have some issues around both my ankles that I'm working through, but I am really pleased to see some progress here. And this just proves to me again that consistency does matter. I did change up the type of mobility and mobilization work that I was doing to the ankle in the last half of the program. Didn't see as much results on the left side. Again, a little improvement there, about a 1/4 inch or so, and then about a 1/2 inch on the right side. So not bad overall for me, not a great score in terms of like what it should be, but happy to see some progress in the right direction. So if we're looking at broad strokes, this entire program, if you take a look at the full sheet here from week 0 to week 12, you might notice, hey, there's some big jumps, some nice progress initially to the halfway point. And that's what I would expect to see. The nerves and the muscles are communicating much more. We're trying to activate as much of the muscle that we already own before your body decides it needs to build more. And that's why we tend to see such a big swing from week 0 to week 6. Now from week 6 to week 12, it's a little bit different because your body now has maxed out those nerve muscle communications and you're asking your body, hey, I'm gonna continue using these muscles and I'm gonna ask you to build more, which physiologically is a little different process. It might take fewer repetitions with more weight and more rest, and that's gonna stimulate muscle growth. Hikers don't really need that, and that wasn't the focus of my program. I wanted to continue driving that endurance side of things. So for example, my program would have maybe 3 sets of 20 for deadlifts or some sort of squat variation, really pushing the endurance side of things with a little bit of strength component in there. So the changes we'll see in the assessments from week 6 to week 12, the needle's not gonna move quite as far, but that doesn't mean that progress isn't happening. It's reflected in my hiking as well. My speed is consistent. I feel great on the hikes. I'm recovering well. The numbers are still moving in the right direction. I'm not regressing anywhere. So if you look at the numbers and you think, well, you didn't really change much from week 6 to week 12, that's normal. Now, as I wrap up my training for the Pacific Northwest Trail, I'm gonna take a look at my training hike progression as well. So what I would do with any one of my clients is ask them, hey, what distance can you comfortably hike now? What pack weight do you anticipate needing for your hike? And then from there, I kind of come up with the numbers and everything that I need. So for me, I hadn't really hiked in a while. I figured I could probably do like 6 miles pretty comfortably. So I put in 6 to 7 miles for target and a 20-pound pack weight, which is at 10 to 15% of my body weight. So with that, each week I would add a little bit of distance and add some pack weight. I discussed this in another video where I walk you through how to set that up. And then as each week or each training phase progresses, I'm increasing again the pack weight and the distance simultaneously. Now this last phase of training is going to look a little bit different. Typically for clients, I would put some sort of taper in there. And for myself, my taper is going to be about 2 weeks. And it kind of lines up with a lot of the travel I've got coming up. I'll be out of state, but typically when I travel, I'm still doing some sort of body weight workout. I've got a number of options there with fartlek intervals, track workouts, stair and hill intervals, and just walking as much as possible when I'm at my destination. So since I don't really have equipment with me, my plan, since I love doing lunges, is to go to the track, do the track workout that I really enjoy, either 400 meters of lunges, maybe 600 meters of lunges. Maybe I do 4 to 6 100-meter lunge intervals, something to keep my body active and moving. This certainly won't be the same as being on my feet and hiking for 13 to 16 miles with a fully loaded pack. But the idea with the taper is that we're staying active, we're maintaining the progress that we've made, and we're not regressing at all. And we're giving our body some rest and recovery before we actually head out and start the hike, which for me is July 1st. And that's a wrap. So just like I would hope for any of my clients, I feel good mentally, I feel good physically. I know I've done the things I can do to tip the odds in my favor for a successful through hike on the Pacific Northwest Trail. And certainly there are things that can still come up, sprained ankles, a knee twist or something like that. And I'm just gonna start the trail smart, just like I would advise my clients. Make sure that I'm doing mileage that I'm comfortable with, managing the recovery, the self-care, the nutrition, those sorts of things to continue setting myself up for success once I get out there. Now obviously I'll be on the trail from July to September at some point if all goes as planned. And I will be accepting new clients starting October 2024. So if you're looking to train for a long distance hike in 2025, you're looking for a program that's specific and customizable, that's just for you to see results like I've seen here with my program, let's connect. I'm going to put a link below where you can book a call into my calendar, and it should be clear from October on. So go ahead, book a call now. Let's make sure that you get the right steps and the right training and support in place to have a successful through hike. And with that, happy trails.